Anderson, I'll throw it back to you.
All right, Jim, thanks very much. Let's talk to our panelists. David Axelrod, I mean, you've seen a lot of debates. Have you ever seen anything like this? And what particular should viewers at home watch for? Because you earlier said it's not really the opening statements, because that's something they just sort of get off their chest. It's really what happens after that.
Yes, and I think these things are measured in moments, exchanges and moments that are memorable. But the thing that interests me, having been involved in this in a couple of election campaigns, preparing candidates for these debates, this is an incredibly pressureful exercise. And the reason that you prep is because there are so many different variables that could come up, and you want to kind of anticipate as many of them as you can. If Donald Trump truly hasn't prepped in the traditional way for this, it would be an extraordinary achievement to perform well under this kind of pressure.
I always think about debates, I mean, just as someone who's moderated a couple during the primary season, as like it's a future game of three-dimensional chess that you're planning for. I mean, you're planning for an infinite number of moves and counter moves, and you do have to. It helps to practice it.
There's no question about it, because given the pressure of the moment, to have to make those calculations right then and there is a very difficult thing to do. And in my experience, the candidates who are prepared do better than the candidates who aren't properly prepared.
But if you're Donald Trump, you trust your gut, and you've always been a gut player, and you've never played on this kind of a stage before.
And it's gotten him very, very far in the
primary. And it's gotten him very far. The difference this evening, as we've talked about earlier, is the audience, because he always gets his energy off the audience. Some people would say he makes mistakes when he gets his energy off the audience, but he's going to have a quiet audience tonight.
So they say. I mean, that's what the Presidential Debate Commission wants. Who knows what will actually happen?
Right, but and anything can happen, but previous presidential debates have had quiet audiences. Now this is a year unlike any other, but it's going to be different for him.
Michael?
Governor Pence said in a CNN interview moments ago that his advice is be yourself, which seemingly makes sense, but I don't know what that means to Donald Trump. Just a month ago, there was a particular day he was seemingly presidential when he went to Mexico City and stood alongside the Mexican president. And I took a look at him and I thought, he looks like an individual with some stature. And that very same night, came back to the United States, went to Phoenix, did a rally, and it was the firebrand Trump. Which one shows up in 55 minutes? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and whoever shows up, can he sustain it for 90 minutes? I mean, that's the thing. No commercial breaks, no bathroom breaks, no phone call to a friend. You've got to stand there and you've got to talk in depth about these issues. It's hard to imagine that even if he's Mexico Trump, can he sustain that throughout the whole thing?
But David, I mean, Donald Trump, was himself early on, and a lot of audiences certainly, loved it. It worked during the primary debates. What has now gotten the polls really close seems to be the new management he's under, which is a much more controlled Donald
being tied to the teleprompter, not ad-libbing as much, not saying as many provocative things. The fact is that he's got the people who respond to that. He needs to win people over who have profound questions as to whether he has the temperament and the experience to be president of the United States and the mastery of material. That's what he needs to show in this debate if he's going to